Hello football fans, this is Prem Preview brought to you by the DAWG Show. It's your boy Tank here. Today we're going to be looking at Arsenal and what's going to be happening with them in January. We'll be looking at their fixtures coming up as well as the transfers both in and out and giving you a whole roundup of everything Arsenal for the month of January. Arsenal went 7 games without a victory before finally beating Chelsea, of all teams, at the Emirates. Comfortable 3-1 victory. The last 5 minutes was a bit of pain. Penalty given away, obviously. Tammy Abraham nicking. Close offside goal for Chelsea as a consolation, but very much deserved win for the Gunners. And then they backed that up. They went to Brighton and got a 1-0 victory. Decent performance. First half was a bit cagey. Second half opened up. Arteta obviously had a few words at halftime and the players responded for him. And you have to say that they really have responded for him. It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about he's got to go. A lot of people, including myself, were thinking, is this job too much for him? As much as the early days when he took over, he did such an incredible job getting Arsenal to the FA Cup final, stabilising the ship, even playing some decent football, although obviously still a long way from the days of a Perez and Henry, the kind of va-va-voom, je ne sais quoi football that we were talking about back in the day. They have had some good players over the year, obviously, after the Unbeatables, players that didn't win titles, even Mesut Ozil, incredible talent, won World Cups, everything you can think of, La Liga, tore up there, most assists, was a most assist provider in Bundesliga in a season, most assists in a Premier League season, so he wasn't a flop at Arsenal. That's the narrative that's being spun now. Obviously the last season and a half hasn't gone well. He hasn't gotten away with some of the crap that he was given of Arsene Wenger. Very happy and comfortable on his $250,000 a week wages. He's not crying at home, put it that way. But yeah, Arsenal really missed his creativity. And it's taken Arteta until the last 2 games to realise that you need to have somebody playing in the hole. You know, Emile Smith-Rowe, very talented kid, don't get me wrong. But he's hardly the world-class number 10 right now. In years to come, maybe he'll be that. But right now, he isn't that. But just having someone there in the number 10 role, in the holes, picking up the space in the pockets, linking up the play between the midfield and the attack is key. You need people dropping into those pockets to even just to draw the defenders inwards and creating space in the wide areas. And they win on the first game and the second game that he plays. Props to Emile Smith-Rowe. Bukayo Saka, man of the match performances in the last 2 games. Brilliant against Chelsea, brilliant against Brighton in the second half especially. You know, this shouldn't be the guy that Arsenal are relying on. Gabriel Martinelli to complete the threesome. Brilliant return to the team. Just bringing some passion, some energy. I think it's been a bit overrated saying that the senior players have given up, they didn't care. I think they really they weren't good enough. And certainly they didn't have the legs to put in the kind of performances that we're seeing now with the youngsters. How much of it was down to Arteta in terms of seeing that himself and how much of that was forced on him, with obviously senior players missing. Willian, who joined the club, pretty successful season last year at Chelsea, their most creative player, one of the top creative players in the Premier League last season in terms of chances created, decent goals and assist ratios, but this season it hasn't happened. With Xhaka, Mustafi in the team, they've let down manager after manager. I think it's more to do with quality, ability to run that hasn't been up to the level. So yeah, West Brom, it's a winnable game. West Brom have only won 1 game all season. They're in 19th place, only 8 points that they've gained the entire Premier League season. And Arsenal have managed to score in every single Premier League game they've ever played against West Bromwich Albion. So there's definitely a goal in this for Arsenal. But West Brom have managed to go undefeated against Arsenal in the last 3 games with 2 wins and a draw. It's going to be a tricky one, especially with Big Sam at the helm. Tank, facts. Sam Allardyce will make it hard. I think we'll see a very similar lineup, probably the same team that we saw against Brighton. Leno in goal, Bellerin at right back, Holding and Mari making the central defender partnership, Tierney at left back, who's been superb. A lot of people calling for him to be the captain now. Bukayo Saka obviously took a pretty bad knock in the Brighton game. He's very young, he's played a lot, but I'm pretty sure he's going to start this game. I really don't think Arteta will turn to Pepe. Pepe, look, don't get me wrong, he's a player I really like. I think he's got some great attacking qualities. You look at in terms of chances created, he's like the number one in the Arsenal team, even though he's not playing a lot. Goals and assists, he's a far bigger threat than any of those young players that we've mentioned, at least so far this season. You know, Saka, for all the good play he's done, only has 1 assist this season in the Premier League. The big problem with Pepe, he doesn't know how to defend. He runs about. He's trying to do it. He's trying to do what Arteta is asking him to do, to track back. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have that defensive capability, and that's keeping him out of the team, because attacking quality, he's definitely at a higher level than some of the kids that we're talking about at this stage in their career. Arsenal don't have enough people in the team that can beat a man. It's one of the most fundamental things in the game, the ability to beat a man. You go through that Arsenal lineup, and how many of those players can actually beat a man? When you take the kids out, especially who've only just come back into the team. I don't think Willian has beaten a man all season. Elneny and Xhaka will make up the middle. Martinelli should play again from the left-hand side. He's obviously new back in the team, and he's played 2 games in very quick succession. So Arteta might be tempted to rest him, but I really don't think he should. So I'm pretty sure he will play, because nobody else brings that kind of energy level. The other person, obviously, up front, who will be upset if he doesn't start is Lacazette, Arsenal's top goal scorer this season with 5 goals. But Aubameyang will probably get the nod. Aubameyang will start. I'm pretty sure about that. And I think it could be a case of, will he try to bring Lacazette back in and drop Saka with the little niggle that he has? But yeah, with Saka's performances in recent weeks, will Arteta really want to, also with 2 wins on the bounce after 7 games without a win, I don't think he'll want to change anything, because it was such a struggle to find a formula. So he's going to keep this team as long as they keep winning. I'm pretty sure about that. Maitland-Niles could be another one, back in for Bellerin. I think Bellerin will keep his place. Niles did nothing really to deserve being dropped back to the bench, but Bellerin did back it up. He was captain actually for Arsenal. I was shocked to all the Arsenal fans, I think, but Arteta obviously believes that he has a big presence in the team and in the dressing room. He had a good game, you can't fault it. And then Willian, he still has the most assists for the Arsenal this season, 3 assists, all in match day 1. And since then, nothing. Just been a complete flop, complete failure. Should Edu get criticism for the Willian signing? I don't think so. You have to look at it, like I said, one of the most creative players in the league last year. And this year, it just hasn't happened. He was also available on a free transfer, so a senior player with experience that was showing form. It seemed like a very good signing, and I don't think you can fault Edu and the people behind the scenes for that signing. I just think it's been a failure, and the club and Arteta especially need to recognise that and make sure his ass stays on the bench. There's no way that he should get the nod ahead of a Martinelli, ahead of a Emil Smith-Rowe, and certainly not ahead of a Saka. He should return. He was a doubt with David Luiz, both illness, but I don't expect either of them to start against West Brom at the Hawthorns. Thomas Partey is in training. He's still got a little bit to go. It's a game probably too early for him. We also have Gabriel, who's still out with coronavirus. He seems fine from all the talk around the club. It just seems that he's observing the protocols set out by the government, and they have no choice in the matter. Arteta did mention in his conference that Reece Nelson has been struggling with a minor injury, muscle injury, and that's the reason we haven't seen him for some time. Personally, I don't think Reece Nelson is good enough to play for Arsenal Football Club. I wouldn't even put him in ahead of a Willian. I don't think he's at the level at all. I know some Arsenal fans really back Reece Nelson and want to see him do well in the team, but this isn't a kid anymore. This guy is 23 or 24 years old. He needs to go out on loan, go out, prove yourself in the Premier League if you can do it. And if you can, then maybe you come back to Arsenal. As much as we all like to see these kids from Hale End break into the team, Arsenal should not be that club where we're relying on youngsters delivering. They should be bringing in some top talent and bringing the youngsters through to help them along, mentoring them, and gradually introducing them into the first team over the next couple of years. As good as it is, as much as we're all so happy to see Arsenal bred these youngsters in this front line, and they look good, let's be fair. But if Arsenal are talking about top four, if you're really looking at it, would Bukayo Saka get in ahead of Mane or Salah? Would he get in ahead of Son? Would he get in ahead of Rashford? The kind of players that will get you into the Champions League. Obviously, Arsenal's goal this season is no longer getting the Champions League, but you have to start as you mean to go on. Let's go back to Mikel Arteta's press conference and the January transfer window. Very interesting comments from him. He was not coy at all about it. Very clear. This is what he had to say. We have a large squad and we knew that. A lot of things that should have happened in the summer, we could not accomplish. There are some players who will go on loan or leave, and that is the priority at the moment. The priority. He wants these players out of the football club. He doesn't want these players moaning around the dressing room, moaning in his office every day, creating a bad atmosphere at the club. He wants them gone. We're talking about Kolasinac, already gone. He's gone to Schalke. That's a done deal. He's out of the football club. Socrates looks like he's gone to Turkey. That looks like that will go ahead. He will have to again take a pay cut, and it's just a question of whether these guys are going to be happy to not play and not be involved in any of the football at Arsenal, or whether they'll take a pay cut. Saliba, Arsenal fans cannot believe this one. In the fixtures that they've seen him play, whether that be in the under-23s or in the pre-season games, he's looked decent, but Arteta clearly hasn't been impressed, and he will go out. The most optimistic light, the way you could look at it, is I don't think Arsenal Football Club should be starting an 18-year-old or 19-year-old as a centre-back in the Premier League. Again, if they are seriously talking about being contenders for the major tournament. It just cannot happen. Go out, learn your craft, come back. Torreira may return. It hasn't really worked out at Atletico on loan, so he may be coming back. Still holds some value. A lot of Italian clubs still rate him, so that could be brought back just to sell. Guendouzi obviously had a massive falling out with Arteta. I think the last thing on earth that Arteta is thinking about is bringing Guendouzi back to the club, regardless of whether or not he's gone out and performed in the Bundesliga. That's irrelevant. We knew Guendouzi was a good player. The question was his attitude. And then, what else did he say? He said, we will see if we have the right opportunity in the positions where we need some help. So Arsenal will try to bring in some talent if it is the right player and if they're available on a good deal. As much as Arsenal see the project, they've talked about saying that they've got plans for January and the summer and they're signed sealed, and they need to deliver them. But they're not going to go out and spend 50 or 90 million in this window. They're not going to bring in two world-class players. It's going to be taking a punt on someone in January and bringing in quality in the summer. So who might they bring in January? The names being linked to solve the creativity problem. Wendia from Norwich in the Championship. To be honest, of the people that's being talked about, he is the one that stands out. A lot of people will say, why are Arsenal buying from the Championship? But let's not knock it, all right? This kid, he performed when he played in the Premiership last season. Even for a team that was shockingly bad, that got relegated, he was fourth in terms of chances created in the Premier League. 81 chances he created in the Premier League last season. And this season, he's continued that, the most creative player in the Championship. He also has 6 goals and 7 assists in 18 games. Other players that are being mentioned, Isco, 1 assist, no goals in 10 La Liga performances this season. This is not the guy that's going to solve your creativity problems. Don't get me wrong. Isco, world-class player at his best. But that's not the Isco that we're talking about now. But is he really going to put in as a shift in any way different than Ozil was? I don't think so. I think you're talking about another player near the end of their career. Okay, he might only be 28, but he's never been the quickest player, the most agile player. Julian Brandt, talking about 35 million. Seems like this is the real player that Arsenal and Edu are trying to work on. 1 assist, no goals in the Bundesliga in 13 appearances this season. Just not good enough. So we'll be running a poll. Who do you think is the answer to Arsenal's creativity problems? Who would you sign? Are you a fan of Buendia, Isco or Brandt? Place your votes in our Twitter poll on TDS_the Dog Show and let us know who you would sign to solve Arsenal's creativity problems. So it's a shocking creativity problem that Arsenal have at the moment. Saying that, they are only a few wins off even 5th place. So they can really climb the table. With a couple of wins, you're already back up to 5th. With a couple of losses from Chelsea, they could be down to 13th or lower. So it really is a very close middle of the table season that could see a lot of teams surprised, finding themselves in the midst of a relegation battle at some point this season or a Champions League place battle. That's it for our Prem preview this week on Arsenal. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to subscribe to TDS_the Dog Show. Check us out on our YouTube channel. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's 2021 and Arsenal will be hoping this football year goes a lot better than 2020. Although saying that, they did win 2 trophies.